First of all, I am extremely thankful to the organizers for giving me this opportunity to discuss whatever I have been doing, and at the same time, this accordingly within a very short time. So I decided the title of my talk as what is given: atypical wave dynamics in complex magnetized astroclouds. Well, so everybody knows the significance of these astroclouds. So astroclouds are star formation takes place. I will go in detail in the subsequent slides. Okay, so what is my plan? Oh, why it is happening? It's not coming. Oh yes, yes. So, so the outlines of my presentation will be introduction, motivation, physical model, then governing equations, results, conclusions, references, and acknowledgements. Okay, everybody knows. So this is well known to all of us. What are DMCs or dash molecular clouds? Dash molecular clouds are dense regions in the interstellar space where star formation takes place. Star formation, together with that, even bounded structures like planetary structures, then planetary rings, then etc. etc. So many bounded structures, these are formed out of this dense molecular clouds. And what it is compositionally, in fact, it is basically a dash gas mixture. Okay, stars are formed because of some instability, what is called gravitational instability or Jeans instability. So it is the Jeans instability which triggers the mechanism of star formation in such media. And what type of equilibrium basically we are idealistically familiar with? This is your hydrostatic equilibrium. So whenever gravitational collapsing is taking place or before that, so equilibrium maintained throughout will be your hydrostatic type. That is, your gravitational inward pull or force will be equal to outward radiative force. So this type of equilibrium is called your radiative equilibrium. So here, this to form, this is your gravitational inward force, which is inward, and this is your outward thermal radiation force, which is your outward. So these are outward. So balance these two leads to your hydrostatic equilibrium. So Jeans instability takes place under the condition if the mass of the DMC or cloud is greater than Jeans critical mass, or in other words, if the scale size of the DMC is greater than Jeans scale size. Okay, so in such cases, it is also possible to see that your volume of the cloud, what we consider, that is your greater than your critical volume as decided by Jeans. Okay, and this is typical picture of your one cloud DMC taken from websites, internet, and this is our typical cartoon showing compositionally the inward and outward force. Okay, okay, fine. And next is your the mean dash to gas ratio in the DMCs differs from your canonical ISM value, interstellar value. And interstellar value is your 1%, and it varies from 30 to 20 to 30% as given in the references. The abundance of dust grains varies locally due to various dust accumulative processes. What are the processes? This is your Jeans accretion mechanism, then Pondy accretion mechanism, and so forth. And dust fugacity, this is one parameter what you introduced. This is your one physical parameter designating the just designating the compactness of the system. And how it is defined? It is your, in totality, it is your number of particles in the device cylinder having length equal to the particle radius. So this is given by this here, ND0 equilibrium concentration of dust grains. This is your device length, and this is your radius of the dust grains. As per this, so dusty plasma system or the cloud will be termed as tenuous cloud if your fugacity is much less than 1, and it will be dilute dusty plasma if fugacity is on the order of 1, and it is your dense system if fugacity exceeds supercritical value. That is your subcritical, this is your transcritical, and this is your supercritical. So criticality decided by this fugacity value decides whether your plasma system will be dilute, dense, or tenuous, whatsoever it is. Okay, and experimental values or the realistic values of this fugacity varies from place to place, from situation to situation, from context to context. In laboratory experiments, the fugacity values typically vary as this. In the Saturnian E and G rings, the value varies as this, and in the Jovian rings, the value is transcritical on the order of 1, and Saturnian F ring, in contrast with other rings, the value is much greater than 10. And the values are well defined, well explained in all these source references given here. Okay, and with this, the dusty plasmas exhibit various collective wave excitation processes depending on your fugacity value. So what are these? So number one, dust acoustic wave, where the restoring force is given by the pressure of inertialess electrons and ions, and inertia by the massive dust mass. And another mode is your dust Coulomb wave, where the restoring force is by the Coulombic pressure among the charged dust grains, and the inertia is provided by the dust mass. Okay, so here what we can see, that both the inertial species and the thermal species are the same, that is your dust grains. And here in this case, in the first case, this is your your thermal species are combined action of electrons and ions, which are much lighter than the heavier dust grains, and inertial species is totally the dust grains. And these are some comparisons what we have made. So this is your, for the in the case of your dust acoustic wave, uh, dust charge fluctuations. So maybe zero. It does not matter whether it is zero or non-zero, but it must be non-zero in the case of dust Coulomb wave. Then frequency regime, this is low and this is very low, ultra low. And fugacity effect, it is tenuous and it is dense, that is supercritical. And length, scale length of existence, this is Debye plasma length, and this is your modified Wigner-Cis radius. And what is Wigner-Cis radius? We are going to define. It is the average typical intergrain distance in the presence of dust grain fluctuations. And phase speed depends on plasma parameters, that is both inertial species and the your thermal species. But in this case, since it is dependent, it is dominated only by the dust grains, so therefore depends only on the dust parameters. And coupling parameter, this is your Coulomb coupling parameter, which is the ratio between potential to thermal energy, and this energy is much less than 1, whereas it is on the order or greater than even 1. Okay. Then Coulomb coupling parameter, what I already told, is this is the ratio between your potential energy and this is your thermal energy. And strongly coupled plasma will be said strongly coupled if it is much greater than 1, otherwise it will be your just less than 1. And viscoelasticity effects are dominating in the system if the coupling parameter is decided by these marginal values or critical values. Okay, and for weakly coupled dusty plasma in the high fugacity regime, the dust charge dynamics excites the dust Coulomb waves in the ultra low frequency regime. And such modes are also reported to exist in strongly coupled laboratory dusty plasmas as well. And theory on the dust Coulomb wave mode excitation in strongly coupled limit is yet to be well understood. And on the more importantly, on the astrophysical scales, nobody has done as far as we have seen. Okay, and such strongly coupled plasmas are directly relevant in various astrophysical and space context of structure formation in the hot, denser environments, particularly compact astrophysical objects and their circumvent atmospheres. Okay, so motivation is our that nobody has so far done any theoretical contribution formulation in this direction, considering all these realistic factors, geometrical curvature effects, non-thermality effects, azimuthal magnetic field effects in totality. So therefore we decided, we have planned to develop one theoretical model to understand the basic excitation mechanisms of collective modes in such a dusty plasma configuration on the astrophysical fluid scales of space and time. Okay, and main motivation of considering non-thermality is that your astrophysical plasmas are highly non-uniform and inhomogeneous in nature, and because of that what happened, various gradient forces are there always, and because of that your thermality is lost, and the inertialess electrons sometimes, although very small inertia effect is there, they almost behave as if little bit mass is assigned to them, and therefore their smartness in screening out or in transportation of heat energy is not so much active, and therefore non-thermality appears, so thermality is lost, and therefore astrophysical situations are highly inhomogeneous and eventually highly non-thermal as well. Okay, So this is our just schematic we have planned, because this is a complicated model we are going to do, and what planning we have in our mind while developing the mathematical formulation. So as per this, first of all, we want to do first consider one DMC, Dash molecular cloud model. Then we consider two regimes. One is your weakly coupled regimes, other one is your strongly coupled regimes decided by the Coulomb coupling parameter. And in both the regimes, we are going to consider two cases. One is your non-thermal consideration, and non-thermal means this is your kappa distribution, and this is your Boltzmann distribution. So this is your non-thermal distribution, and this is your non-thermal distribution. Again, in this non-thermal distribution, we are considering high fugacity case and low fugacity case. Again, in the thermal configuration, we are considering one high fugacity case and one is your low fugacity case. And then whatsoever results we are deriving, we are coming together, integrating together to arrive at concrete conclusions or conjectures. Okay. So after this is our physical model we have considered. And as already I have shown that various compositions are your massive dash grains, then electrons and ions. Okay. And this is your azimuthal magnetic field. And this is spherical geometry. We are considering this as to be spherically symmetric geometry. This is your radius, and this is the origin of our reference system. With respect to this, we are defining our spherically symmetric configuration of the dash molecular cloud. And in this cloud, what we are further considering, we are considering that dash charge fluctuation taking place, and the effect of viscoelasticity, which is dictated by your Coulomb coupling parameter, is retained. And the complex fluids are initially in a hydrostatic homogeneous equilibrium instead of non-uniform inhomogeneous equilibrium. This is only for the sake of simplicity of our entire calculation scheme. Okay. After this, what we are finding, this is our, I told you why non-thermality considerations are there. We have to consider non-thermal distributions in the case of your astrophysical fluids. So this is called kappa distributed electrons, and this is kappa distributed ions. And in the case, if kappa tends to infinity, this kappa tends to infinity, in that case we'll get only thermal distributions, which are nothing but your Boltzmann distributions. And since we have considered spherical geometry, therefore this is your spherical geometrical term. Okay, this is your radial coordinate, and this is your momentum equation. And already we know these are all usual notations. And this, the first term, that is your inertial term, and this is your the thermal term. This is your density gradient of the dash grains, and this is your electrostatic term. This is gravitational term. This is your gravitational field intensity or gravitational force, and this is your Lorentz force term. This is your Lorentz force term because of the magnetic field, and this is your viscoelastic terms. So viscous terms, which is coming out because of your spherical geometry, splitted in the form of these two. And we have both bulk viscosity and shear viscosity. So we have two types of viscosity. One is your bulk viscosity here, and other one is your shear viscosity. Fine. Okay. So bulk viscosity that prevents your expansion, radial expansion, and your shear viscosity that prevents the motion, shear motion over that, over the fluid. Fine. So this is the equation of state is of the form of polytropic equation of state, because I told you that non-thermality, we are considering non-thermal system, therefore the equation of motion is no more of thermal form, so therefore polytropic form. And this is again the magnetic field induction equation, electromagnetic induction equation, evolution equation, and this is your magnetic field evolution with respect to time, and this is the corresponding special variation. And electrostatic Poisson equation, as you know, this is the coupling equation. It couples ionic species, electronic species, and dust species. All the species are close together with the help of this electrostatic Poisson equation. And what remains else? That is your self-gravitational Poisson equation, and it connects, it considers only the massive dust grains. So this is your material density fields, and it states that the presence of material density field results in evolution of self-gravitational potential in this form. So whenever there is material density field, there will be potential, gravitational potential. And the charge dynamics of the dash grains is governed by charge conservation equation. This is your charge conservation equation, and these dash grains are charged, electrically charged, only because of contact electrification in the presence of random electrons and ion thermal currents. So ion electronic current and ion current, these two combine together to make the dash charge surface electrically charged, and this is in totality what we can say, we can also write this term as to be just dq, just total derivative dqd by dt equal to this. That is, the dash charge is coming at the cost of electron thermal current and ion thermal current in random statistical fashion because of the plaza background. Okay, and these are the corresponding current expressions which are estimated with the help of analytical calculations over the phase space. Okay, so as I told you that homogeneous equilibrium has been considered, so we are to do a local analysis. So local analysis means here only the spherically symmetric geometry is considered, and because of that, this is the spherical term we are considering. Okay, this is the deviation from the planar geometry, and rest of the things are just a part of this way. So these are linear perturbations. Okay, this is linear perturbation with respect to the equilibrium. Equilibrium is given this way. This is the equilibrium. Okay, so linearized equations are now coming out of this form respectively. Okay, so after this, what we can find, we derive a generalized equation mixed form of this form. So these parameters are to be eliminated by method of simplification and elimination with all these parameters and introducing charging frequencies of this form. These are the dash charging frequencies. We arrive at a dispersion relation, generalized dispersion relation of quadratic form in this form, and various terms involved here are just generic usual terms, and also we have also defined what are the various terms. These are as shown here, and the assumption, basic assumption made here is of this form. So if this assumption is made, the above equation reduces to this form. So this is the main equation we are interested in, with the help of which we are going to analyze the instability of our present concern. Okay, fine. So under the simplified weakly coupled limit, hydrodynamic limit, the above equation reduces to this form. So here we can see again geometry, it is modified with the help of geometrical curvature effects, and in the low fugacity limit, this equation further reduces to this, and again in the high fugacity limit, the same equation reduces to this form. Okay, and this is the new scale length, what I told you before as well, modified Wigner's radius, signifying the intergrain distance. Okay, fine. Okay, so after this, we also consider kinetic regime, and kinetic regime is dictated just by the opposite case. Okay, and under this condition, the dispersion relation reduces to this form. Okay, and we further consider, for reliability checking, we consider first let us consider the thermality limit. What about the thermality limit, plane geometry limit, and no magnetic field regime? In that case, at the same time, no viscosity regime. In that case, our equation reduces to one. This your for this case, low fugacity case, and this is for your high fugacity case, and these equations are exactly, interestingly, matching with the previous calculations. So it gives the reliability checkup of our entire calculation scheme. So once the reliability checkup is over, we are now proceeding for normalization and numerical analysis, and this is the normalization scheme, and again this is the correspondingly normalized form of the two equations in the two extreme limits in terms of fugacity, and in the kinetic limit also we are deriving two limits of the same dispersion relation. One is your low fugacity and other one is a high fugacity limits. Okay, so this equation reduces to this form, and after this we we apply input realistic values available in the literature so that our numerical analysis can proceed. After applying all this value, we get numerical results as shown here. So figure 1, this figure shows the spectral profile, that is your real frequency part and imaginary frequency part of the mode under this limit. Okay, so under this condition, it is in hybrid fashion. So under the conditions, what condition we are going to apply, as per that it will modulate, it will evolve accordingly. So from this equation, from this profile, what we see in this regime, there is no real frequency, that is no velocity. So when there is no velocity, exactly in this regime, the growth is maximum. Here the growth is maximum. So once it starts evolving in dispersive in dispersive fashion in this region, then what we find correspondingly the growth becomes more. Okay, and these are just in zoomed out form the same, this part and this part, these are just zoomed out here. So in the zoom part, we can see here again in this form. So what we find that in the high K regime, in the low K regime, that is your greater wavelength, we see the nonlinear feature is more. That is almost gravity is affecting in this regime. Okay, so gravity is regime, but in this regime not so. So another important point out of this, again in this regime, what we can find further in this regime, what we can see here again that in this regime the your growth is more, and when we move to high K regime, high K means in the acoustic, pure acoustic domain, your growth becomes zero. That is the wave becomes, your mode becomes stabilized. If mode becomes stabilized, your system becomes stabilized. Okay, so accordingly, we have also plotted the other rest of the profiles, and for different cases, and cases are given here: high frequency regime, low frequency regime. Again, similarly, we also zoomed out again in the Maxwell thermal case, again as before, high frequency regime and low frequency regime, and we get similar profiles, similar features. So whenever there is no propagation, there we get stability growth, instability features, growth is there, then after that it gets stabilized. Okay, and at the same time, magnitude of the growth rate, we can see this is your in the Maxwell case, that is thermal case, growth is more than that in the non-thermal case. Okay, and also we have also plotted the density plot so as to confirm the earlier conjectures in the color map fashion. So here also, this is your our growth rate, and this is our real frequency. We find in the color scale the similar features as before. Again, we get similar stability features even for the other case in the low frequency regime. Again, we get similar profiles, that magnitudes are again confirming even in the density profile. So once the numerical analysis is over, we are in a position to derive a number of conclusions. And these conclusions are, first of all, we have for the first time, as far as we have seen, developed a theoretical model based on generalized hydrodynamic model configuration, okay, to study the dash Coulomb wave, and in the strongly coupled limit, in the presence of cell gravitational effects, electromagnetic effects, and non-thermality effects combined in a single form, integrated form on the Jeans scales of space and time. The dynamics of the weakly coupled limit is fully free from any kind of viscoelastic effects. The dynamics of the strongly coupled limit exhibits viscoelastic effects relevant in the diverse, realistic, compact astrocosmic environments. What I already told you, that compact astrophysical objects, for example, red dwarf, brown dwarf, okay, dwarf stars, the neutron stars, and their surrounding atmospheres. And in the kappa case, that is in the non-thermal case, in the kappa distributed plasma case, the long wavelength fluctuations, that is your Jensen fluctuations, are more unstable. What I told you, that in the long wavelength means in the k tends to 0 in the low k regime. Okay, in the low k regime, what I told you already, I have shown. Okay, so that is are more unstable because we got growth, more growth there. Okay, and in the kappa case, DMCs get destabilized more and strongly and rapidly than the Maxwell, that is your thermal counterparts, triggering diversified bounded structure formation. Okay, and in the strongly coupled limit, viscoelastic force acts as a destabilizer or stabilizer in the kappa case, that is non-thermal case, or in the thermal case, that is your Maxwell-Boltzmann case, against the non-local collapse dynamics leading to structure formation. And let me tell you, and one interesting point is that these diversified wave scenarios, wave structure scenarios, are highly applicable in astrophysical fluid dynamics in the transport processes of mass, energy, momentum, and therefore the entire fluid matter gets reorganized, redistributed, and because of that redistribution, again further non-local canonical gravitational collapse starts, and because of that clouds start becoming cloudlets, and cloudlets further undergo gravitational collapse and form bounded structures, astrocosmic boundary structures, stars, planets, etc. So these entire diversified wave scenario, wave structure formation, whatsoever we have studied, these are highly useful in twofold way. Number one, in the understanding structure formation dynamics, and secondly, to understand the wave structural dynamics going on in compact astrophysical objects and their surrounding atmospheres. Okay, so these are the relevant references what we have used. And we are extremely thankful to the organizers of this program for invitation as well as giving the opportunity to discuss our works. And we are extremely thankful to the administration of our Tezpur University for providing financial support to our collaborator Dhruvajyoti Kolita, who is the collaborator of the current work, and SARF, that is Science and Engineering Research Board, and for providing financial support through a SARF project to me. So I am thankful for the financial support to SARF, Government of India. And last of all, thanks a lot for your kind attention.